this is the last thing I'll say about the Alabama conversation, and we'll officially put a period on it after this. Was where do you rank this loss to Alabama in 2025 on the worst losses of the Kirby Smart era? Is it up there? Is it top 5? Does it register?
Yeah, it's up there, definitely.
And what is? Well, let me preface this. What is your definition of the worst loss? Is it the loss to the worst team, or is it the loss that just made you feel the worst? How does it? Where do you rank it?
I think it's just kind of a case by case thing. But yeah, I would say more the second thing. Just what the loss means for your season, how good your team is, how you were supposed to fare in that game, and like just the way that it happened. I would say all kind of culminate in a bad loss. You kind of have to hit a little bit of everything, but like I don't think you always just have to lose to a cupcake for it to be a bad loss. You can have a really bad loss be to a great team, which Georgia has had.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of like piggybacking on like the Braves we were just talking about. Like this is far from the worst season in Braves history from a win-loss perspective. But when you talk about a team that was second or third preseason favorites to win the World Series, and they're like the third or fourth worst team in the National League. From that perspective, it feels like the worst year in like Braves history.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say I'll come out and just say, like, I think the worst loss Georgia's had of the Kirby era, in my opinion, is the 2023 SEC championship. I just think when you consider that was a team that, was 12-0 and supposed to be the best team in the country. I mean, at that point, like, they were number 1 going into the game, were they not? Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure they were number 1 from week 1.
Going for 3 straight national titles. You've got a chance to beat Alabama. They were literally coming off of a win over Alabama already. Like, people forget, I guess this loss and the 2024 loss, and then the game that I'm talking about, all 3 together have kind of made us forget a little bit about that 21 national championship. But, for a long time, the feeling was for a while, Alabama doesn't own Georgia anymore because Georgia finally beat them. But now, since Alabama has since won 3 straight against them, that's the narrative once again. And they had a chance to kind of, I think, put that to bed forever if they had won the 23 SEC championship and would have gone on to make a playoff and maybe even win the 3rd straight natty. But that didn't happen. They lost to an Alabama team that they shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah, and it's the other narrative, which is just like message board, like Twitter, shit posting type stuff. But like Alabama fans being like, "Oh, Georgia fans won it all in 2022 because they didn't have to play Alabama," And it's like, I just shrugged that off. It's like, well, yeah, the team that didn't get to the SEC championship, sure, we hung 50 on LSU. Like, you guys were over there playing, what did they play, Kansas State or something in like the Sugar Bowl or something, I think that year. Like, I'm not sweating over you guys not making it to the game we played, but now we're sitting at a point in history where we played Alabama in 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024, now 2025, and 2022 is legitimately that only year that they didn't have to play Bama, and they went undefeated that year. So maybe there's something to it. We're not going to give them that satisfaction, but I think that's a good call. I think because I think the worst loss in terms of the worst team, I think is not even really close. Because I mean, year 1 of Kirby Smart, you kind of throw out that whole year.
They lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, right. They lost to Vanderbilt. I can't even remember who else. The Tennessee Hail Mary, Ole Miss blew them out. Honestly, that's probably one of the bigger beatdowns to Chad Kelly and that team.
Yeah, that's probably the most they've ever lost by under Kirby.
Beat TCU in the bowl game. Lost to Tech that year as well. Yeah. But yeah, the 2019 South Carolina game is clearly like that worst opponent. But and when you look at it, maybe the playoff committee gives Georgia the benefit of the doubt if they're 12-0 going into that LSU game, and then they lose to LSU and they're now the 4 seed or something in the playoff. But I mean, there was no scenario where you're going to beat that LSU team, so it's hard to say like that's a heartbreaking loss. But yeah, I think last year versus Ole Miss kind of pops up into my head in just terms of like the domination. 2018 versus LSU, that one of the more uncompetitive games I can remember of the Kirby Smart era, where nothing really happened. That's kind of similar to last year's Ole Miss game. A sneaky disappointing game is the 2018 Sugar Bowl, maybe the 2019
Oh
Sugar
yeah,
Bowl, but 2018
that was
season. That lost to Texas, where we almost lost Uga in the process as well. But just because Georgia players were so like active on social media, like dunking on Oklahoma and stuff, after Georgia had that epic 2018 SEC championship game versus Alabama, and Alabama was just beating the hell out of Oklahoma in the playoff, like all these Georgia fans, or all these Georgia players, I should say, on social media talking about how they should be in the playoff and all that, and then you just kind of overlook Texas. And I think Texas was up big at one point in that game, but it ended 28-21. Was
they
that
were up
21-0?
Yeah, they were up 20. I think they were up 20. It was either 21-0 or 28-7. Yeah, they went up 21 at one point. Georgia scored 2 touchdowns at the end.
Yeah, I remember they made it close at the end, but that's up there. And
That
just
was when
terms of just,
Ellinger was like, "We're back."
yeah, that's right.
So like the biggest win they've ever had.
But yeah, these last 3 to Alabama, it's like last year losing in Tuscaloosa. It's like, look, we lost an epic game. You know, it's a long season. You still won the SEC championship, so maybe that makes it sting a little bit less. But I think I'm with you. I think 2023 SEC championship is still the worst. But just from an ego perspective, because I mean, we didn't even name a national championship loss to Alabama because it was year 2.
Yeah.
And it felt like there was such positivity around it. It was like, we're just happy to be there. We're like, we legitimately were just happy to be there.
That loss did suck. That might have been the worst, like, 5 minutes following a Georgia loss in the Kirby Smart era, because it was like, oh my God, I just watched us lose the national championship in one play. Yeah. But then we kind of, I remember that off season, it was like, oh wow, look at this team that Georgia's got. Look at the future they've got. It was more seen as like a stepping stone, and it ended up being one. But
yeah, exactly. It was, and the way it happened, it was so similar to that 2012 SC championship game. How you had the multiple catches to Arthur Lynch, and Georgia has all this momentum going down. They don't spike it, and then the Connolly catches that ball and then just falls down. It's like, whoa. It's over. Like we were just coming down. Now it's over. Yeah. It's like Davin Bellamy gets that sack. Now it's 2nd and 26, and it's over. And it's like, whoa, wait, what just happened? We just got 2nd and 26. We were excited, and a loss of 16 on the first play in overtime. I would love to see the percentages on the number of games that teams have won after losing 15 yards on their first play. But yeah, that we have to go through it again. But yeah, it was like the way that happened. It was just so sudden. But yeah, it was just like, and Kirby Smart basically spoke for the whole Georgia fan base. Like, this program's not going anywhere. All that, everything he said.
That ended up being a pretty like legendary press conference, because everything that he said really did come true. I mean,
yeah,
you know how many times coaches get up there and they say like, we'll be back, and they never get back.
Like, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what Sonny Dykes. I don't know what Sonny. I don't know what Sonny Dykes said his post game after the TCU Georgia national championship, but I imagine he said something similar. And it's not been that for TCU, but yeah, I think just ego wise, like this feels like as high as the rest of them, because it's like almost that 2023 SEC championship. It's almost like you couldn't break a Georgia fan's heart in 2023. Like, bro, we just saw 2 national championships back to back. Like, yeah, we would have really loved a third, but what can you do? It was frustrating seeing Michigan and Alabama play a month later, that you're like, we're better than these teams.
Smoke these guys.
This is so frustrating. But yeah, so I feel like it might rank up there near the top in just terms of like feeling wise, of just, are you kidding me? They really do. Maybe it's because I was one of the few that was holding out, that like Georgia doesn't just have some Alabama kryptonite. It's not that. And now I'm like, I guess we do. I guess it's their kryptonite. I can't even say anything anymore.
Yeah, the one thing I was holding on to is like, they've never had to go to Athens before with Kirby as the coach. They go, they're not even top 15, and they go into Athens and they beat Georgia. Like, that really, I mean, I know maybe I'm just late to the punch on being like, okay, Alabama really does own Georgia. But, like, that felt like Georgia's last chance. And I know every time they play each other from here on out, it'll be a new chance for Kirby to prove himself. I'm not saying that, like, it's just the book is closed forever now, but it kind of does feel like we've hit, like, a critical period in the rivalry where it's like there is a clear big bro, little bro dynamic here going on, I think. Sucks to admit.
Yeah, for sure. I can't even hate on SEC shorts. I don't know if you saw that. They had the little like Maury thing, basically saying like Alabama, you are the father.
I gotta watch that. That
Yeah,
sounds
it's can't even. Those guys always do a great job.
They are funny.
So I can't even hate.